Learn how you can build a really performant leaderboard for the World Cup using Azure SQL and Redis, or for a lot of other different things as well. This week on Data Exposed. Hi, I'm Anna Hoffman, and welcome to this episode of Data Exposed. Today we have an exciting episode planned. We have joining us today Davide from the Azure SQL product group. He's been on the show lots of times. Welcome, Davide. And we also have Roberto, a special guest joining us from elsewhere. So Roberto, can you kick us off by telling us a little bit about what you do?
Yes, my name is Roberto Perez. I'm a senior partner solutions architect with Redis. Pretty much 18 years of experience building application, doing solutions architecture.
Awesome, cool. Well, I'm really excited about this episode because we're going to be talking about how to build a real-time leaderboard for the World Cup using Azure SQL and Redis. And for folks who might be a little familiar with either solution or maybe not even familiar with either solution, I thought it might be good if we started off with, like what is Redis? How does it relate to Azure? How does it relate to Azure SQL? Can you all help me with that?
Yes, definitely. Okay, so Azure Catch for Redis Enterprise is a partnership. Redis and Microsoft has a partnership where senior engineers from Redis and engineers from Microsoft are joining together, working together for creating this amazing product. Azure Catch for Redis Enterprise, you have active geo-replication. You will be able to do use the modules or Redis Search, Redis Bloom, time series, and JSON. If you guys need the 959 SLA, that's also available for you, and the ability to have a private link. This joint support, so Microsoft will have the tier 1 or that right there for the clients. Clients will submit the tickets. Microsoft will respond, and then there is a backup or direct line if there's any type of escalation. Microsoft will contact Redis and they will do the most effort to solve that problem. Now, there is a different use cases that most people are familiar with when we talk about caching, right? And the user store, user session store, that's the most common one. Or even, storing any type of string caching, right? When there is, for example, the token, if you want to store that. But Redis Enterprise, you can use for either, a lot of more use cases. You can do content caching, you can do time series, notifications, search, geospatial data, you name it. So definitely you can expand the use cases and apply for a lot of more solutions to your problems.
Yeah, let me talk about Azure SQL a little bit now. I just want to highlight that we decided to go with Azure SQL because we believe it's the best database for developers. It offers a wide range of options to make sure that you can do relational multimodal, you can have the same engine working from edge to cloud. You have multi-version concurrency control, so very high concurrency without having to wait for locks, for example. Encryption, which is pretty important these days. It's available everywhere, transparently at rest and in flight. And we have our very, very rich query optimizer with a lot of features that can help really to build any application. And we just actually released the 128V course for hyperscale, so you can almost limitlessly scale out and up because you can go up to 100 terabytes and up to 30 replicas, so you can really handle any kind of workload. And here you can find an article I wrote some time ago on the 10 reasons why you should use Azure SQL for your next project.
Awesome, and cool. Before we go any further, I think I've learned a lot so far about why you might use Redis and why you might use these things together. So I think I know where we're going with the leaderboard, but I want to make sure you guys answer, how can I use this for a modern app like tracking the scores of the World Cup?
That's a very interesting question. And well, the first answer that I can give you is teamwork, because there is no one database that will fit the need of serving 1 billion users watching, the results of the World Cup, and being able to have rich query capabilities and at the same time be worldwide geo-distributed, right? So teamwork, exactly as it happens in the World Cup, is a key here. So that's why we partnered with Redis, because we want to build a modern application that has low latency, that provides rich query capabilities to do all the kind of statistics that people passionate about soccer may want to do. Of course, from a cost perspective, provide an optimal cost and performance for those who are hosting the application. And from a developer perspective, we also want to be able to quickly improve and evolve the application, adding new features. And so it needs to be agile and evolutionary, or at least support is a paradigm. So that's why we went with the solution architecture that you will be seeing here. Roberto, you want to take a stab at it?
Yeah, definitely. Right here, when you deploy the application, you normally have a global, load balancer. In this case, when you see the application, you will be able to go through the bicep, and it was gonna deploy a global load balancer. Then you have the app service. And right now, the app service, you will deploy one in East region, one is West region. You also will find two Azure functions. One is going to be used for the right behind pattern that we'll implement, and the read through pattern. The other one will use the read through pattern. The same to store the data. You have a active geo replicated cache layer where you have a ready cluster on the east and a ready cluster on the west. And to store, our application data, you have a Azure SQL database.
So Roberto, just a quick question here to make sure that it's clear. Basically, we are using Redis to have the hot data closer as possible to the end user, while SQL to basically get all the changes that happen on the cache consolidated in a single place. So I can, as an analyst, for example, I can do any complex query I want, and maybe then send it back to Redis to provide statistic or anything like that. Is that right?
That's right. You will place the cache layer in front, so the user have fast data queries, and reading that data over, and then there's a right behind pattern that is gonna take that data out to Azure SQL, so you can run any type of analytics or any other things that you may want to.
Let's go to the demo, I guess, or we have something else that you want to show, or.
Yeah, we can talk a little bit about Leaderboard. What's a Leaderboard? And in our case,
right.
we're definitely we can see it in the World Cup, but you can find this Leaderboard in different industries, right? You have financial services on like stock market fluctuations, music like beatboards. Definitely, it's a very, very common pattern or thing that you will see everywhere. That's what we can see.
Cool. This is really awesome. Let's take a look at the demo if there is one.
Yes.
Yeah, and one thing I think when we tried to put together the demo, we had we tried to avoid some legal problems with the World Cup, so we switched to another data set. But I think the learning and the demo will apply exactly the same way if we want to do any leaderboard that you mentioned, right?
Yes, that's correct.
That's cool.
So right here, you will see there is the top, companies. We have a set of different companies with their market cap and their country, right? So as you mentioned, we could switch that to show anything as the World Cup. The teams, their flags, their logos, and how many wins or losses, they have.
Yeah, but we want to be friendly with our legal department, so let's keep
exactly. So here we have the company data. We're showing the name, the logo, the market cap, and the country, and pretty much you can update the actual, company market to whatever, the different amounts. So in this case, we can update to 10 million. Before I do that, I want to show really quick, we have different feature flags, configurations that we can use when you go to the repository. One of them is allow admin. You will need this one if you want to delete the keys when you are starting the application for the first time. The next thing, you have delete all keys. That's if you really want to delete the keys. On application start, load initial data. When you start the application, it's going to load our data set. You're most welcome to bring any data set. You have use, read through, and use right behind. And those is to use the patterns, the right behind pattern or the read through pattern. And here is the URL for the read through function. So let's go ahead. I'm going to show the Azure SQL database. I already pre-populated the data beforehand. So I launched the application. It went through and loaded all the keys. If I can see here, I do a select. I can see all the companies and the market cap. Okay, so here we have the top 10 companies. We're going to go ahead and update the rank. Right here, I'm gonna select Apple. I'm gonna update it to 10 billions and click update. And what is happening is right now we are updating straight to the cache, and we're getting the data back from the cache. And then we have an Azure function that is running the right behind pattern, and asynchronously it's gonna take that data, it's gonna move it to Azure SQL. So let's go ahead and show us first. It already did. So it was pretty fast right here. Before we have the 2.2 billion market cap, and right now we have the 10 billion market cap. So as you can see, this is one of the best ways to do that right behind pattern.
Awesome, cool. Thanks so much for showing us this, Roberto. This was a super neat demo. Davide, thanks for showing us how it ties in with Azure SQL. It's a great combo, great partnership. The best part about all of this for our viewers is that all this sample code that you saw is available today, and there's a blog for you to go look at. So if you like this, you want to learn more about it, you want to check the description for links to learn more. If you like this episode, go ahead and give it a like, leave us a comment, and let us know what your favorite part is. And we hope to see you next time on Data Exposed.